Hello and welcome back to All for United. Now you can probably see this ugly mug, and you can see Hader on I'm getting my arms mixed up on my right. We're not here to do a transfer show today. I'm so pleased to be saying that because I've just about had my belly full of transfers, as I'm sure a lot of United fans out there. We're here today to do the match day preview because United are kicking off their season on Saturday, and I don't know about you guys, but I am absolutely buzzing. Yeah, I am. Hader, come to you first of all, mate. Before we just get kicked off, quick word from you. How nice is it to be doing a match day preview show as opposed to tearing our hair out over a transfer show?
Mate, it's absolutely beautiful because you know what? There's more to life and more to football than transfers, more to life than seeing United be linked to every single name under the sun. So look, let's just get behind the team. I'm buzzing to see the boys play again. And yeah, you just got to be positive, haven't you?
Yeah, no, exactly the same. Exactly the same. I'm delighted to say today I'm joined, well, Nitin, like all of us, mate, you're new on this match day preview. It's the first one I've done as well. Delighted to have you along, mate. I've worked with you a few times on the transfer show. Same question to you, really, mate. How excited are you to get kicked off on Saturday?
Yeah, exactly. I'm really excited. I just wanted this transfer window to end so that we can see some football finally. So I'm really excited, to be honest.
Yeah, no, cool. And I'm also delighted to say I'm joined by Ollie. We've had a few issues with your connection, mate, but I think you're with us at the moment. Same question to you as well, mate. If you've heard what I've asked the boys, how excited are you to get going on Saturday?
Couldn't hear what you were saying, mate. Sorry.
Sorry, mate. I'm just saying it's nice to have you on the show, mate. How much are you looking forward to getting the season underway on Saturday?
Well, yeah, I can't wait, mate. As we're saying, it's a bit different watching everyone else play, and we're a week behind.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Worth the wait.
Yeah, it was a strange start to the season, obviously, because the actual Premier League season, as we know, started last week. And interestingly enough, our opponents started last week as well. So you could argue that they've had a game to get themselves prepared. But here we are. We are live, guys. So it'll be interesting to get your comments in. We've been running some live polls on the Twitter page today with your thoughts about what you think the 11 might be. Your thoughts on the game, to keep them coming in. We can continue the discussion. So, like we said, we start our season on Saturday against Crystal Palace, and it just seems to be a good time to get going because this summer just seems to be getting more and more turbulent as the weeks go on. We're seeing a fan base that's become divided. We've seen a fan base that's become frustrated, and the club now needs somehow to sort of bring some success and some joy to the fans, and hopefully they'll do that on that little green bit at Old Trafford on Saturday. So I'll come to you first of all, Hader, because this, looking at this fixture, a lot of people think, well, Palace at home, it's a decent start for United, to be fair, but we've got to be conscious because we did lose this game 2-1 last season. I think that was pretty early in the season. I think it might have been our second home game, to be honest. Obviously, we'd had the jubilation of beating Chelsea 4-0 at home. And then obviously we had the next home game. We lost 2-1 to Palace, which was a massive surprise. But, without talking too much about the players we've got and we haven't got during the window, Hader, as we already know, how much, what sort of shape do you think this squad's in going into the new season and to the game on Saturday?
Look, I'm pretty confident, if I'm being honest with you, and I'm not one of those that thinks the first 11's not very good or that's not going to finish in the top 6, because I think there's just too many people that are overreacting. They're saying that, United finished third, and the way they finished the season and the way they had that last 6 months from the turn of the year, United were the best side in the league form-wise. We have an excellent starting midfield. We've added some depth to that. Van der Beek could be a great signing. We've got a brilliant front three. Obviously, the defense has weaknesses, but United on a day can beat anyone. And what I just don't understand is how you can turn around and say, for example, looking around at our rivals, you look at Arsenal, they bought a couple of players. Look at Spurs, they might do some good business, but they've got a manager, in my opinion, that's probably not going to get the most out of their players. And you've also got a Chelsea side which has got seven new additions, so it's going to take time to gel. So United are in a good position. I know the problem and the frustration is that we want to see us go to the next level. But what I am happy about is the fact that we've got a strong first 11. I do expect a good game. I expect us to play well. And I've still predicted top 4, and I don't want us to always be top 4. I want us to go for the titles. But look, we've got a good enough squad to get top 4. So let's just get behind the boys and have a little bit of positivity, because it's draining getting up in the morning, going on Twitter, and it's just full of negativity. We know what the deficiencies are. We don't need to be told every day. We've got 3 weeks of the window left. Let's just get behind the boys, enjoy watching United play again, because, it's the greatest club in the world. And let's get the win.
Yeah, and it's interesting. James says here, start the season. Any season is exciting. We've got a good group. Let's hope we can add something. And yeah, we've talked about transfers. We hope we can add to it. But it's interesting there that Jim James says that we've got a good group. You as well, Hader. And I have to be honest, I think one thing, and I'll come to you on this, Nathan, one thing that encourages me as well is that we seem to be starting the season with pretty much a fully fit squad who obviously only ended the previous season a couple of weeks ago. So we've got every chance of hitting the ground running by playing our strongest 11. So do you think it's encouraging that obviously that 11's available to us and that they're ready to go, ready for the first game?
Yeah, obviously we do have a strong first 11, and I see a lot of people moaning on Twitter and other social media platforms that we will finish 6th or something like that. Just like Haider said, we do have a strong first 11, but the thing is, in the long run, we may be affected by quite a few. Like a few injuries or something like that. So we do have a strong 11, and I think if all the players remain fit and continue to perform like they were performing last season. So I think we can. We can finish in the top 4. So as Man United, we shouldn't be, hoping for a top 4 finish. But that's a different section. Let's not talk about that at least. So, I'm pretty optimistic because we do have a strong 11. We just bought Van de Beek in. So, there was an issue like if Pogba, Bruno gets injured, we don't have a midfielder to replace him. So now we have got Donny Van de Beek, who is one of the best midfielders. I would call one of the best midfielders one of the best young midfielders in Europe. So we've got him in. So we got the midfield, and so up front we got Rashford, Martial, and Greenwood, obviously. So I think we have a good 11, and our defense has also been under scrutiny because I think we wanted a centre back this summer, we didn't get one. So I see a lot of frustration. But the thing is, we have kept. I think we were the 3rd best defensive team last season. So so our defense definitely deserves some credit, don't they? Because obviously Maguire is a bit slow. Lindelof could make errors, but at the end of the day, our defense has improved considerably. And obviously, there were arguments for left-foot centre back to come in. They might be Ole's plans, but look at Liverpool. They have 2 right-footed centre backs, Joe Gomez and Van Dijk. Look at Real Madrid. They have Varane and Ramos, both are right-footed. So at the end of the day, we have a pretty good all-round team, but only issues with depth. And I think. There's every reason for optimism. So let's be positive. The first game of the season, I think we should be up for it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this is the thing for me that's got lost in all this negativity around the transfers, the Glazers, the strategy. When you peel it all back, when you look at our games, we've got Palace on Saturday. We've got a game against Luton Town in midweek in the Carabao Cup. We've got Brighton away. We've got a real opportunity to start well here with a strong 11 that we've got, haven't we? Let's not forget that actually the team is in good shape. And with the exception of the disappointment of the Sevilla tie, this should be a team full of confidence because they were playing some great football before the break. Now, Ollie, I don't know whether you can hear me, mate, because you break it up, and I'm not sure. Can you hear me? No, I don't think you can. No, Ollie's gone, so that's fine. We'll hopefully get him back in later on in the show. So I'll ask you, Hader, obviously, what I was going to ask Ollie. And we said about we seem like we've got a fit squad, but obviously, as you know, we've had a summer of a little bit of discontent off the pitch. We've had players like Maguire involved in off the field incidences, and even Mason Greenwood. Do you think they're 2 players? I think that would. A sort of certain start on Saturday, but do you think Ollie's got any considerations to make considering the sort of upheaval that those 2 have had this summer?
Look, there's so many cases in our history. I'm not condoning it, where you look at players who have had off-field problems, and for me, what really matters, obviously, there's got to be a line, but what really matters is what goes on the pitch. Two key players for us, two very good players as well. People are sleeping on Maguire a little bit. They're saying, he's unfit. He's slow, and he's not. It's maybe the player we thought we were getting for 80 million. But look, at the end of the day, for me, this United squad has a lot of talent, and all we're hearing is the problem is people are just forgetting what we have, and they're going on. We want this player, we want that player. It's well documented what we want, but the point is, this squad is also another year playing together, so they're going to have more time and more opportunity to build that chemistry, to build those partnerships around the pitch. That front three is very young and very, very talented. It's frighteningly talented. Mason Greenwood is the one for me, which I think he's going to be an absolutely fantastic player, possibly generational. So, look, I think what's important is Ollie tells them to go out and express themselves, play with confidence, because it is difficult with what's happened to Maguire and what's happened to Greenwood. And I think one of the positives for us, the fans are not in the stadiums. You're not having opposition fans going at them. So that's a massive thing for them. I don't really have any concerns for both of them. I think they're both players who really, really need to just play their football, knuckle down. It's been a little bit of a rocky in terms of player wise, off the pitch. I will admit that. I'm not going to say it's right. I don't want to pass judgment on it either, because quite frankly, what I care about what happens on the pitch. We've seen in the past Cantona kicked a fan. What I will say though is that this squad, again, like I said, it has immense talent. There's a lot of good optimism. They're obviously playing for the manager. And, I'm just so excited to see them play again. And Bruno's the one for me. I want him to put De Bruyne numbers. I know I might be getting a bit ahead of myself, but he was putting some fantastic numbers up. And he's just going to get better. So, look, positivity. We know what we need to do in the transfer market. For one weekend, can we just support the boys and not say, if we go one down or there's a mistake in defence, we want to do for Meccano. Well, you know what? He's not at the club. Support who's at the club. And if you've got a problem with that, then you shouldn't really be, you should. Football's not for you. United's not for you, because you support whoever puts that shirt on.
Yeah, no, let's be honest, guys. This team over its history has been in much better shape than this, and it's been in much worse shape than this, hasn't it? Before we were around and after we're gone, the team's going to have some ups and downs. That's just how it goes for every team. Some Bar Vista says here, positive feedback is what we want now. More reason why I love following this channel so much. Thanks for that comment, Barrister, because that's what we want. That's the message we want to spread on this channel. We know it's been frustrating for everyone this summer, but actually we all just need to unite now, less than 48 hours to the game, and just focus all our energy on getting behind the team. Interesting comment here, and I'll come to you on this, Nathan. What I'm looking forward to is Shaw-Rashford combo, because I think they link really well. When Shaw was out, Rashford does not link up very well with Williams and probably does not trust in defending. So therefore, maybe what Greg's trying to say there is that maybe Rashford sits maybe 10 yards deeper when he's played alongside Williams, because he obviously feels like he may have to support Williams. In terms of combinations around the pitch, is there a particular combination that you're looking forward to seeing? I know I'm really looking forward to seeing Fernandes and Martial sort of rip it up again. They were on fire, obviously, last season at times. That front three, the way they combine. I don't want to take all your answers, mate, but, is there any particular combinations you're looking forward to on Saturday?
Well, I'm looking forward to a combination of Pogba and Greenwood. Pogba good fetch that long balls to Greenwood, and, he's a talented player. He can shoot with his either foot. So, that's a combo to look forward to. And coming to Luke, yes, obviously, we saw how Luke Shaw was important to that team. Ever since he got injured in that game against Southampton, we saw we didn't have any creativity going from that left-hand side. And so in the post-restart, Luke Shaw and Rashford were linking up really well through the left-hand side. So it was evident the importance of Luke Shaw in this Man United setup. So hope he stays fit. So that's just like the comment. So it's another, partnership to look forward to on the left-hand side of Luke Shaw and Marcus Rashford. And so Pogba, so obviously there's a big season for him, according to obviously he should prove his worth now. So he hasn't been that consistent this year. So he had injury issues and many other off the field issues. So I think now he's focused on this project. He's committing his future to Man United. So I expect Pogba to be the elite Pogba that we saw at Juventus, consistently banging them assist. So Pogba. So I think Pogba and Greenwood is also. I'm looking forward to that combination.
Yeah, I think, mate, every season, you look at Pogba and you think, is this going to be his year? Is this the season where he can keep fit and obviously kick on and be that player we want? And to be honest with you, if he can't excel in this midfield, I don't think he ever will. I mean, some of the players he's playing around now will be phenomenal. They'll complement his style. They'll allow him to, to express himself on the pitch. I've no doubt about that. Just want to go back to that comment, though, Hayder, and just come to you on that, because I know you're a great studier of the game and analyze the game and combinations. Do you think that Greg has a point there when he suggests that Rashford becomes a better player when Shaw's on that left side?
Well, it's very kind words, Joe. I wouldn't say I'm a student of the game, but I do try my best. Now, look, when I completely agree with that comment. I think what people have a problem with, myself included, I don't want to be too negative, but what I will say, it's important to be constructive when you do criticize players, because that's okay as well. Look, without the abuse, it's okay to say that you think maybe we need more quality on that end product from Luke Shaw, whoever's playing left back. And I think what you see is the overlapping runs, especially with the left footer, are so key for our system and the way we play. And I think when you look at when Williams plays, because he's right-footed, his natural instinct is to come in on his right-hand side. I don't think he trusts his left foot as much. And look, you can't blame him. He isn't a left back, is he? He's a right back. And call me old-fashioned, I like my left-footed left backs, my right-footed right backs. What you see with Shaw is he makes those marauding runs forward. He stretches the fullback out wide. It allows Rashford to take those inside channels in between the fullback and the centre-back. What Rashford does best, actually, and what I'm most impressed with, we saw it early on. I believe it was in the Bournemouth game when we won 5-2. And do you remember that pass he did from deep? He's become quite a good playmaker. He's got a good playmaking ability. Played from deep to Bruno. Bruno miscontrolled it. And I think what you're seeing is that actually Rashford has the ability to come deeper, collect the ball, while Shaw makes those runs on the outside. And I wasn't seeing that enough from Williams. I've said many times, look, Brandon Williams has got fantastic heart, fantastic desire, passion. I love the grit and determination. I like he's got a little bit of bite to him, but we can't ignore that you still have to do your role in the team. You still have to be a technical footballer. You still have to do the basics correctly. And my issue with Brandon Williams on the left is that I don't feel he does the basics that's needed from the left back in the system. And when you look at our right back, Wan-Bissaka, he's naturally the one that we look to and think maybe he's not so good going forward. He needs to improve that. So if he's not going to be as good going forward, the person on the other fullback needs to be better. And unfortunately, I think when Williams plays, it really hampers our attacking play. Now, what I will say is that doesn't mean I don't think Williams isn't good enough. I just think that put him as a backup to Wan-Bissaka, and you'll see a completely different player, someone that's natural, someone that will take on the man. He'll go to the byline, whip in those crosses. So, look, Luke Shaw is integral for the way United play. But, and there's a little caveat, not to be negative, but you look at Robertson and you look at other left backs who are putting in assists and end product, and I just want to see Shaw do that more. Whether he's got that in his game is another story, but I'm looking forward to get him coming back. I've been harsh on him in the past, maybe that's fair, maybe that's not, but he really did perform after the restart, so he deserves credit for that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, mate. I think if he can churn out some numbers this season, that'll be massive for United. Some more love coming for you here, Hayder. So agree with Hayder. Too many people look at the negative and forget the positive. United have amazing potential to grow. And that's the thing, we do complain about transfers, but we've no idea where this young team can take us at the moment. That sort of that front three, it's so young and so much room to grow. Who's telling how good they can be? I mean, some people were even suggesting they were as potent as the Liverpool front three last season.
They scored more, didn't they? So
exactly.
That's an indication. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Someone said here, I like Williams. He's just not a natural left back. He should be challenging Aaron Wan-Bissaka right back. Totally agree with you, mate. But I think that'll obviously depend on whether United can do some business at left back this summer. We'll have to see someone like Alex Tellers maybe come in, because if we don't sign another left back, then he's going to have to cover both sides, I would imagine, because obviously Dalot seems strangely out of favour at the moment. Barisfa says, going into the season with a fit and committed Paul Pogba is like a whole new signing. Couldn't agree more, mate. You're so spot on it. And like I say, we hope for that every summer, don't we? And if we get it, then that is as good as any Thiago signing, to be fair. And I know you're a big fan, Hayder, but let's be honest, if Paul Pogba's firing, he gives us a bit of everything. That's it, Hayder. I don't obviously agree with you again, mate. Joe O'Neill, one of our hosts. How you doing, buddy? I hope you're having a good night. He said, "You're right, lads. We've got to go into the weekend, come together and unite as fans. Hopefully United win and Liverpool lose." Now, Hayder, you're more across the picture. Who have Liverpool got this weekend?
Chelsea away.
Oh, well, there you are then. Yeah,
I predicted a 2-2 for that. I think
yeah.
I think there's a few weaknesses we've seen from Liverpool, but I don't want to talk about them because I don't care.
Well,
so.
yeah, obviously we're on a Man United show, and we've obviously got a much bigger game this weekend. Palace at home, of course we have. And now I do want to just move on to Crystal Palace. You know, they'll come into the game feeling good. You know, they won their first game last week. Wasn't a classic game, but you know, they won the game 1-0 against Southampton, a team who I predicted to actually have quite a good season this year, to be fair. But looks like they're going to be perennial slow starters under Hasenhüttl. But I think, you know, we saw last season they've got potential to be really good this year. I'll come to you first, Nitin, because I do want to have a chat with you, Hayder, about Palace specifically. But I will give Nitin a chance to speak first. You know, last year, sort of Zaha and Van Gaal ended up being the stars of the show for Palace in that game at Old Trafford when they won 2-1. Although David De Gea didn't really cover himself in any glory, did he? Do you expect it to be the same suspects this time? Do you expect, you know, Zaha to be the threat and Van Gaal, or you know, can you see dangers in their team from anywhere else?
Well, obviously, that would be the main tactic, I guess, because in the last game against Southampton, I think they had just 29% possession and they won the game 1-0. So that would be their main strategy, I guess, to sit back and break the teams on the counter. So obviously, Will Zaha could be a real threat on that right-hand side, and he could. And I think it was Patrick Van Aanholt also from the left-hand side. So they are real threats, I would say, because on the counter they are a great team. And I think the last time we faced them, we didn't have enough quality. I mean, I think Pogba played that day, but it was just an off day, I would say, because we didn't have that, quality in the midfield to create chances and, finally break them down. And ultimately, I think Dan James scored that day. And, I think it was a 90th minute and we conceded again. So I think, our team has definitely improved from that. I think it was just a second match at home. So we have definitely come a long way after that. We have added, we have now Bruno Fernandes, Van der Beek and Pogba. So we have enough quality in that midfield. We can create chances. Even if they sit deep, I believe that we can create chances and break them down ultimately. So I don't think that would, that would be a repetition. But that being said, we need to be at our very best because they can catch teams on surprise because they have quite a few good players in their squad. So I expect us to win this game, and especially with the midfield, I'm very hopeful on like the midfield issue sorted. Actually, last season we didn't have any. I mean, there was this lack of creativity in that midfield. So now we have real quality in that midfield. So we should be able to break those teams down. Especially Van der Beek. He's a great player to play against these low blocks team because he's known for that. He makes those clever runs, makes those line breaking passes. He just comes outside the box and he scores all those goals. So he's he's a player who is known to play in such type of matches. So so I'm really optimistic with that.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I remember when we did the Welcome Donny van der Beek transfer special, Hayder, and we were looking at the potential for. Sorry, this is not a question. I'm just making a point. We're looking for the potential of Van der Beek, Pogba, and Bruno to play in the same midfield. I actually think this is the type of game where if Ollie wants to play that sort of midfield, he would probably get away with it in this game. Having said that, you do need to respect Crystal Palace's strength, which we're going to come on to now. We will talk about United's lineup a little bit later in the show. Just to remind you guys, we are live. If you're liking the video, do smash a like on it. Do smash a subscribe as well. It's some awesome content coming up now. The season's about to start, so give us a like, give us a subscribe, and you'll not miss a thing. Set those reminders. Now, I just want to point you in the direction of a little show that Hayder's done for All For United, which I think's actually gone out now, or it's going out around now, just after the show. I think it's called Behind Enemy Lines, and it's something that you're going to be doing every week, isn't it, Hayder, where you're going to be talking to an opposition fan from the team that we're playing next weekend. And I know you've done it, obviously, this week by speaking to someone a Crystal Palace fan. Obviously, you can tell us a little bit more about that. What can you tell us about that show and give us a little bit of an insight into what he said and what we can expect from Crystal Palace?
Yeah, sure. Make sure you check it out because it's interesting to get insight to other teams that aren't United, and it's a good way to find out what we're going to be expecting. I think everyone knows what Palace are all about. I think they were probably a side last season, well, unhappy fan base. That's the first thing, because I think there's a strong belief that Roy Hodgson will probably be leaving at the end of the season, and there's a possibility that perhaps Eddie Howe or someone like that will come in. But looking at the way Palace plays, we all know our sort of kryptonite last season was when teams sat back, and as Nitin said, we lacked quality in the midfield, and I think when you look at the midfield now, it's able to break down those sides that sit deep. What you're going to get from Palace, and we saw last week against Southampton, is that they had 27% possession. But what they did do effectively against Southampton, which they didn't do much last season, or didn't do effectively last season, was that counter-attack. And then the obvious threat is Wilf Zaha. I would say as well that they have got Eze on the bench, the new signing from QPR. He looks a talent as I want United to be careful of if we're going to play midfield, Van der Beek, Pogba and Bruno, is that defensive cover. When you look at the centre-back pairing, if it's Maguire and Lindelof, what I don't like is when people slag off Maguire and Lindelof as if they're shocking players. They're not shocking players. Lindelof's a good ball-playing defender. He's got deficiencies under the high ball, and Maguire again is a good defender, a good leader. But again, the pace and the speed is a problem. So we've got two good defenders. They don't work together. And I think teams have identified that. And I think what we've got to be careful of is if we're going to be playing with such a high line, that pace from Zaha, they have the ability to do that. Townsend, someone who has got pace as well. But look, what's coming out of the Palace camp is that, it is just going to be sit deep, low block, and then try and hit us on the break. We're going to have all the possession. We're going to have to be clever. We're going to have to be sort of, I would say, probably a lot of movement, a lot of quick 1-2 passing. But what I will say as well is that United have shown since the restart that they can break down teams that do that. They've got more to their game now. You look at that midfield, that midfield can compete with any of the top teams in the Premier League, with the starting three that's there. So I'm confident, to be honest with you. But it's one of those games where I'd rather have had a team that come and played against us, because I think I'm more comfortable when they do that, because we've got enough pace to be able to hit them on the break as well if we wanted to. But look, going forward, I think Palace, their biggest problem is scoring goals. They scored 31 last season, which is absolutely shocking. They've always had a good defense. Gary Cahill's injured. That's a big minus for them. Yeah. But United should win it, and there's no excuses. Whether we have a lot of options on new signings or not, we have enough to win. We have enough to beat any team in the league, and let's just be positive about that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Reese says here, and I tend to agree with him. Unite together, spreading that message again. I like that. I'm loving the positivity coming through in the comments, guys. Hopefully, we can enjoy the match on Saturday, and it'll be a different game to 12 months ago. I think it will. Like we've already said, United's midfield looks more equipped now. You've said that yourself, Nitin, when I came to you earlier. James, you're joining us on the show today, mate. Thanks for bringing your comments in. Great to hear from you, mate. It will be immense to see Donny van der Beek coming off the bench rather than Pereira. Well, yeah, whoever starts, in that midfield for us, either Bruno, Pogba, or Van der Beek's going to have to be on the bench if they don't all play. So, yeah, I mean, that's a massive plus about him coming on now. Ollie can look round to his bench, and he's got so much more options all of a sudden, so much more sort of combinations, and so much more versatility in his midfield. Greg says, yeah, Donny van der Beek runs into the box and will cause major problems. Lots of free space for Martial and Greenwood. This is what I'm looking forward to, because this is one thing I have heard that Donny van der Beek does. He sort of makes these late runs sort of Paul Scholes-esque and sort of creates chances. And obviously, if he's making those low darting runs, it means there's going to be more space for everyone else as we go along. I've got an interesting comment here, Ada, that you might want to respond to if I can find it. Oh, here it is from James. He says, Ada is on more shows than Philip Schofield.
No, James, earlier I thought I was on more shows than Alex Scott. But, putting my face out there. I hope you guys aren't getting too sick of seeing it. I know James is loving it. He's telling me to do even more and more. Mate, be doing more shows.
Well, this is your opportunity, Hayder, to sort of break the story if you want. Will you be joining Holly Willoughby on This Morning anytime soon? Or...
Oh, man, I wish, but sorry, I've got other commitments, bigger and better things.
No, exactly, right, and it's all for United, I'm sure, isn't it, mate? So Hayder.
You or Holly Willoughby, easy choice.
Exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, we share a lot of features, to be fair, mate, but we'll go into that another time. Anyway, Nitin, I'm going to come to you now because obviously we've touched on this a little bit about United's ability now with this midfield or this perceived ability to be able to break sides down. Not just this Palace game on Saturday, but I don't know about you, but I feel that teams will come to Old Trafford this season now and take that approach like Palace will more often. Whereas I feel over the last 5-6 years, teams have probably smelt blood and thought they can come to Old Trafford and win now, but we're looking a lot more dangerous. Therefore, teams are going to sit back more, and we're going to be faced with probably more games like Palace. But I think if we have a better squad to deal with that, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. I think we have come a long way from that, and we have a good squad. I mean, good starting 11, and we have that quality to break teams down. So last time we saw with many games, like I think West Ham away, that match was atrocious. Newcastle away, and so there were many matches we struggled to break those teams out. I think Bournemouth also. So their only tactic was to sit back and score on the counter. So we didn't have those players in the midfield that would help us to create chances. That creativity was missing. So once Bruno came in, so obviously the color changed, and obviously we started scoring more goals, and obviously we finished third in the league. And so obviously their tactic, the opposition tactic would be the same, I would say, because their main strategy would be to sit back against us and play on the counter. But with the midfield we've got, as I touched upon earlier, so with the quality in the midfield we've got, I think we can break those teams down. It's only a case of staying fit throughout the whole season. I think we have that quality now with Pogba, Bruno, Van de Beek, and Matic also has been excellent in the second half of the last season. So I think we can, break those teams down and get the results against these minors.
Yeah, cool. No, thank you for that, mate. And I'm like I've already said, I'm just excited to seeing how we go about, because there's been questions about Ollie tactically and whether he can tactically break down teams. I think this is a great game on Saturday to start off and see if he can actually do that. I just want to come to you, Hayden, because Ollie, who was meant to be on the show with us today, has got in touch. Unfortunately, his connection wasn't working. He's talking about Ibrahim Eze. I'm no good with pronunciations, mate, so you might have to help me out here. But he got 14 goals, 8 assists last season. Obviously, that was in the Championship with QPR. We know he's joined Palace this summer. Did the Crystal Palace fans say anything about this guy? Are we expected to see him on Saturday? Is he available for the game?
Yeah, it's well known that he's one of the sort of top attackers, I would say, in the Championship. Look, I don't expect him to start, and that's what the Palace fans said. He said that, look, Hodgson is going to be Roy Hodgson, right? He's going to keep it tight. He's going to keep it compact. Remember, he's got Jordan Ayew. He's obviously got Townsend. He's got Batshuayi. They've got options off the bench, to be fair. So I expect him to come off the bench, but look, you just gotta watch out, because if he's playing on that right, depending on who's playing left back, if it's Shaw, he can be caught sort of defensively, and we've seen with Bergwijn, he did make a lot of trouble for Maguire and Shaw in that game, with their pace. So United have got to be careful about that. Whoever's playing on the right, obviously he plays on the left as well. So, and Zaha's another one we got to watch out for. But like I said, we're going to have the majority of the ball, so I just expect us to keep the ball ticking, keep it moving. And what I'm happy about is that we're not going to be playing on the counter like we did last season. We've got enough quality to break teams down. We've got enough quality to control the game. I guess the question is, do we have enough off the bench? Obviously, got Van der Beek. That's the question, and that's obviously where the transfers come in. But from that first team, and if this United side had to play, and the squad had to play once a week, we'd be completely fine, barring injuries. I think the problem is with that depth, when you've got two fixtures or that Christmas period, you can't be playing Bruno into the ground or Pogba into the ground. So what I will say is that, look, Eze will be, obviously, he's a talent, but he's still raw. He's still got time to develop, and he's got to settle in the Premier League. So look, keep an eye on him, but I'm not expecting him to do anything outrageous. Look, now it's going to obviously come back to bite me, and I'm going to jinx it. But yeah, look, United got enough quality, and they just have to remember, don't get caught on the break, because that's where Zaha can be potentially very, very devastating.
Yeah, if everyone likes a bet, get yourself on Eze to get the winner in the 90th minute. That's what I'm going to do now. When I get off here, I'm going to stick a fiver on that, Hader. But some interesting comments coming in here from everyone. Obviously, Chucky there agrees he's got fantastic potential, but there's stuff to work on at the moment. But, some people in the comment have been talking about, the excitement about this United team now is that we can play different styles of games. So, obviously last year we were sort of labelled as a counter-attacking team. But you could argue with the additions, the addition that we've made this summer, and the way in which we sort of started to break teams down who sat back last season. We've got more strings to us bow now, and that will be important because, as we know, as you go through a season, Nathan, you never really play two opponents the same, do you?
Yeah, exactly. Now we can play different shapes. Now that Van de Beek has come in, so maybe we can play a 4-3-3 diamond. Last season we were quite predictable that we would play the 4-3-3 with Matic, Pogba, Bruno. So I think that is still our strongest 11. But the advantage of Van de Beek coming in is definitely that we can, alter the shape in between and play a 4-3-3 diamond maybe. So we can, tactically switch formations. So that is definitely a plus point that we are going to have this season, because I don't think Ole would have used that with Pereira or Lingard in the team. So I think that's why Donny van de Beek has been brought in mainly. And I don't think he would be necessarily a bench warmer for United. I think, Ole would, switch tactically to fit him in and, play different according to the opposition.
Cool. Yeah, no, thank you for that. Hader, I'm going to come to you first of all now, because we're getting to that part of the show. We're coming towards the end. So I want us to look at what you think the 11's going to be. We've run some polls on Twitter throughout this afternoon. I don't know if you saw them. We've been asking people about who they expect the goalkeeper to be. I think De Gea unanimously won that vote. We asked people about who they thought the centre-back pairing would be. Interestingly, a lot more people went for Maguire and Bailly rather than Maguire and Lindelof, so that was interesting. We also asked people about what combination they'd like to see in midfield. Obviously, there's tons of combinations we could make because everyone's got a case to play. And we asked people about their preferred front three. But before we get into that, what is your 11, mate? And can you give us a little bit of a brief explanation as to why you're going for this 11 on Saturday?
Yeah, look, I think sort of the back five picks itself. I know people have said Bailly, but I probably expect Lindelof to play. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if Mengi gets to start, because all the noises coming out of Solskjaer, comparing him to De Ligt, I think he's a fantastic prospect. And like with the injury proneness of Bailly and Tuanzebe, I would not be surprised if maybe 6-7 months in the season, you're seeing Mengi with Maguire. But I'm going to play it safe. I'm just going to go for our usual back four. So Lindelof, Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, and Luke Shaw. I'm looking forward to seeing him back. I want to see a left-footed left back again. The midfield's a hard one. I think Pogba and Bruno will probably play. And then look, it could potentially be Van der Beek, and I think it'd be nice to see that, because Van der Beek can play in that deeper role. Obviously, he started off in that position before he moved. He's played obviously in all three midfield positions, but it would be interesting to see him there. But I'm going to go probably for Matic. And people will say, well, we're playing obviously a team sitting back at home, but Matic has very underrated, creative and ball playing abilities. I think when we were trying to break down teams earlier on the season, when we just played with Fred, and I like Fred and he provides good energy, but I don't think he's got the incisive passing of Matic. But I would like to see Van der Beek. I think it'll be Matic. Van der Beek will come off the bench. And the front three picks itself, Rashford on the left. He's got a big season ahead of him. Hopefully he's over that that injury, that terrible injury, back injury, and hopefully we see a bit more of a consistent and better form from him. But I will say that it'll be Martial. I expected him to score the first goal. I'm sure you'll ask a prediction. And Mason Greenwood, the star of the team, in my opinion, and a player that I'm really excited to see develop even more this season and become an absolutely top player again.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, I mean, Chucky says here we've got the flexibility to try new formations. This should make us, more difficult to prepare against. Yeah, obviously, we always talk about how we're preparing for teams. Obviously, teams of Crystal Palace are probably wondering how we're going to line our midfield up, to be honest. But we've still got a thin squad, in terms of quality on the bench. And I suppose that's where we can maybe hide those deficiencies, though, until the 5th of October. And if we can get a couple of more bodies in the box, which, Hader, I know you for one are definitely confident that a couple will come in, before the end of the window, then hopefully that sort of weakness in the squad won't get exposed before we can get a couple of bodies in. Mark Biggs, I think he's just with you on this, Hader. He's gone for exactly the same team, I think, there. Yeah, Mark knows his stuff. I mean, I look at that team and I'd be really excited to see that play, to be honest. And I think, it's definitely got potential too. Mark's also said that he reckons we can break teams down better with Van der Beek, because obviously maybe that third man running sort of situation where he's going to be another body into the box, making, cheeky runs into the opposition penalty box and not getting picked up. So that's interesting. Nathan, just coming back to you, mate, to give us your predicted 11. Is it similar to Hader, or, have you got some subtle changes?
Yeah, I'm going with our strongest 11. So Luke Shaw, I expect David De Gea to start. I think Dean Henderson, Solskjaer would probably ease Dean Henderson into a first team, just like how he eased in Mason Greenwood into the first team. So I expect Dean Henderson to be a part-time goalkeeper this season. So David De Gea to start at goal. And for left back, Luke Shaw, right back, Wan-Bissaka. And for centre back pairing, obviously, I think Ole trusts that combination of Lindelof and Maguire. So that they should start, and Matic, Pogba, Bruno in the midfield, and Greenwood, Rashford, and Martial up top.
Yeah, no, mate, thank you for that. Chucky's also said that Fred versus Matic always depends on whether Holly expects to harry and press. If he wants to do that, then Fred's probably the best option. But if you're versus a shield and to help bring the ball out, then Matic is probably a guy. I think we agree, don't we, Hayden? Matic, he is probably a little bit more neater on the ball, and his distribution is a little bit better. I always think back to that. Was it Brighton game last season? Was it the third goal or the second goal? The one that Bruno
scored? The pass.
Pass was beautiful. But to be fair to him, more and more under Ollie, he is a player that I've started to see pass the ball more progressively and forward, to be fair. Under Mourinho, he did seem to pass the ball very square and backwards. And I think a lot of people he became a scapegoat for that. But actually, is what he's probably asked to do. Because if you look at the Tottenham midfielders now, you're seeing them do very much the same, So I think under Ollie, I think Matic has shown that he can help the team go forward. And I think that's a great point, Chucky. But, that's about all we've got time for today, guys. I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to Saturday. I know it's only been, how many weeks since we last played?
It feels like forever. This transfer window.
It's nowhere near as long as obviously a normal season break, but it just seems like we've packed so much in these 3 weeks emotionally. We've invested a lot of time, doing these shows as well. I'm not used to doing these during the season break, so I feel like I've invested a lot of emotion on United, and it'll be nice just to chill out on Saturday with a glass of whatever takes your fancy, a Coke, a beer, cup of tea, whatever you want, and just relax and enjoy the game. And hopefully it should be an entertaining one. I'm obviously really positive about the game. We'll get some score predictions quickly. I'm going to go for a 4-1. I've said this on the show before. I think United will win the game comfortably. And but let's just hope that if they do win comfortably, that doesn't send a message to the board that we're all right for the season. We still need to try and do something before the end of the window. What about you, Hayder? What's your score prediction and your goal scorers, please?
I'm going to be as confident. I think it's going to be a difficult game because they're going to be so deep. 2-0, and Tony Marshall to carry on that fantastic form. And yeah, just a positive start's what I want, and keep the confidence, keep on building.
Yeah, exactly. And Nathan, what about yourself, mate? What's your prediction, and who do you think will score the goals?
Same. I'm going with Hader 2-0, and I expect Tony Marshall and Mason Greenwood to score the second.
Okay, brilliant. And before we go, let's just get some of the thoughts of you guys. Greg Lawson, 3-0 United. I wonder who your goal scorers are there, mate, but I'll take that. I'll take any of these results. Reese, that's the wrong one. Reese has told us 2-0, Bruno and Van der Beek, second goal. That'll be nice, mate. It'd be nice to see him get a goal in his debut. Mark Biggs, interesting comment here. Going to double my original score today and the other night and say 6-0.
Mark, you're such a troll, mate. Come on.
I know, yeah. Why are you following the show, Mark? There's no need, mate. He's one of the quiet ones, Mark. We work a lot with Mark, don't we? And,
yeah.
Play a lot, but he's got a good crack. But he's also saying Tony will get a hat-trick. Well, I'll put it this way. I'm hoping we're not waiting for our next hat-trick as long as we were when Martial got his last season. Obviously, that was 7 years on, wasn't it? So, yeah. So, before we go, guys, I just want to say a massive thank you to Nathan and Hayder for joining me on the previous shows. I think, Hayder, you're going to be joining me most weeks, so it'll be great to grow this show with you, and hopefully there'll be positive shows, mate, because if we keep winning and and week to week, then we'll enjoy doing the show, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. It's always a pleasure, and positivity, guys. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. And that's let's send that message out to our, to the fan base before we go. Let's stay positive. Let's use all this energy now for Saturday, because whatever you think about what's going on, this team needs us. It's not the players' fault. And if we want to have a successful season, the only way we're going to do that is by winning. Nitin, thank you so much for coming on today. I know you were a bit of a late, so I appreciate it. Thank you, mate. We'll look forward to working with you again in the future.
Cheers. Same here. No problem.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Take care. And we'll see you next Thursday for the next match preview against when we'll play Brighton. Early kickoff next Saturday. So enjoy the game, everyone. And glory, glory, Man United. Here's to a win.